2010, my boss and I had to go to Nogales to a facility down there to look about bringing some of the manufacturing that they were doing in Nogales back into the United States. One of those things that most companies don't do these days. And so we went down there, so I got an actual firsthand kind of glance at the border and how things were down there. One of the first things they told us once we got into the facility was, "Don't leave the facility. We will bring lunch into you because it's not safe for you out there." And it's like, okay, well, that makes me feel so much better about coming down here today. Then we're on our way back. At the end of the day, we're trying to get to the border so we can come back into the United States. And my boss oh shit, I forgot to get the insurance on the rental car. So I'm imagining myself in Mexican prison for nothing. So I stopped and picked up a bottle of tequila just in case on the way out.
What kind was it?
Well, there was actually a huge amount of vehicles going from Mexico into the United States. And this was on a Friday. So there was a lot of people that were actually driving over the border into the United States from Mexico.
They need boobs, dentures. I mean, tequila.
No, opposite way.
Opposite
direction.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there, and we're sitting in line at the point of entry, and I'm looking at the fencing and walling that's going west, and I'm looking at the fencing and walling going east, and I'm just looking at it and saying, how is that going to stop anybody? Honestly, because if there's a will, there's a way. I mean, that's just the way shit works.
And there's water you can swim.
Well, not in Nogales. There wasn't much of that in Nogales.
You can get to water.
In New Mexico and in Texas, they have the Rio Grande. But yeah, Nogales, no. But I mean, that's the thing. You look at the space that they would have to actually put the wall just around Nogales. And it's like, how are you going to build this? And are you going to build it right on the line, or are you going to build it just inside U.S. territory, or are you going to try to build it on the Mexico side of the border? Because I don't think that they're going to let you do that. So you build it on the U.S. side. What are you going to do when they tunnel under it? What are you going to do when they go over it, which is what they're doing now anyway? And it's not so much about anymore. It's not so much about undocumented people coming into the United States as much as the drug cartels, because that's who's really actually abusing the border. Immigration. Yeah, immigration has dropped so much over the past 6 years in Arizona.
Yeah,
but the cartels.
So basically, we need a wall to keep the drug guys out, which everyone's making more money than God on anyway.
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
They don't even need mules anymore.
It's
they
like
can just tunnel.
So it's going to take $500,000 to put a tunnel under this wall. Go right ahead. We're going to make $5 million.
No problem.
And if we can get some cocaine through, we can get some people through too. I mean, not a fucking problem.
Yeah, but I think it's more about the cartels pushing things through, and that's the thing. If we tried to get legalized marijuana last year, and it failed. Not by, I mean, it did good, but it didn't do good enough. But I mean, when you look at what funds the cartels, and the reason they take all the risks just to get the drugs into the country is because of the profit margin. Now, you legalize drugs throughout the United States, there goes their profit margin. It's now not worth it. It's now not worth it, or there's no return on investment to try to get stuff into the United States. It costs too much for too little return. And for some reason, nobody seems to want to think about that. Even the people that are pro-marijuana don't think of it from that standpoint. They think of, well, I should be able to grow what I want. I should be able to smoke pot. It's it's my right, blah, blah, blah. As opposed to if we create our own market inside the United States for marijuana and stuff like that, then they're not going to be bringing it in for,
or other drugs even.
Well,
heroin.
Even other drugs, yeah, heroin. We make plenty of methamphetamines here in Apache Junction, so that's not really an issue.
Yeah, so I need a fucking driver's license to go get some
Sudafed.
Goddamn fucking Sudafed, because meth dealers are using the.
Yeah, they're cutting their methamphetamines.
I mean, it's
with
ridiculous. So just legalize it all.
Legalize it all. If people get fucked up and die, I mean, that's their choice. But at least
I actually know somebody who actually is running a program, RAD, re-legalize all drugs. Basically, take all the scheduling out and basically make everything legal. We're talking heroin,
but
meth,
that's never going to happen.
No, I know, but
because
realistically,
then
the
pharmaceuticals lose their
problems.
profit margin because now oxycodone is obsolete.
So fuck that. They have to figure something else out there.
No, they won't. Drugs are not going to be legalized in the United States anytime soon. Some states may be able to get marijuana legalized, but the whole gambit, it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Well, marijuana is legal.
Lobby.
I mean, it's like growing thyme or rosemary or sage. I mean, it's
not
a
in Arizona.
plant.
Not in Arizona.
Oh, Joe, no. In Arizona, it's supposed to be like fucking cocaine.
Colorado, Washington. I thought there was a third one. Maybe is it Oregon?
Oregon? Yeah,
maybe?
Oregon, I think.
It's
yeah.
allowed. You're allowed to grow your own and stuff like that.
And
we've got some friends in Colorado that they seem to be really happy people.
Well, it's probably because they're smoking what they're growing.
I wonder why.
It's a wake up and bake up,
Wake and bake.
So they're doing good. But and I think that also has to do part of that in the pushback. I mean, a lot of it is the pharmaceutical companies, but also you have the religious right that pushes back on legalization. They use the idea, well, marijuana is a gateway drug, or it makes people do things that they shouldn't do. Like it's the plant's fault that somebody killed somebody, as opposed to the person who did
Ambien doesn't make you fucking do crazy shit.
Well, no, that's got a pharmaceutical stamp on
exactly,
it, so it doesn't matter.
As long as it's got a pharma stamp on it, it's fine.
As long as it has
Pfizer
or Bayer.
Oh, it's awful.
So, I do think that the religious right in this country is actually kind of more hurting than helping a lot of things in the United States because of the fact that they don't agree with it. They're worried so much about abortion. Oh, we have to stop abortion.
Don't fucking get one.
Here's an idea. If you want to stop abortion, how about you prevent pregnancies?
Oh,
prevent
we don't believe
unwanted
in birth
pregnancies.
control.
Because if you have no unwanted pregnancies, you have no abortion. It's a logical step. But then it comes into, well, yeah, but if we give them free birth control, then they may be having sex more, which is a violation of God's laws, unless they're married. Okay.
But guys can get boner pills.
Where does Viagra fit into that?
Really?
I mean, if it's part of God's plan that you can't get an erection, shouldn't you follow his plan and not get a pill to give you one? I mean, what was that lady that just passed some law? I think it was in Texas. Or she submitted a bill in Texas to require anybody that wants to buy Viagra, they have to actually get permission from their spouse. They have to go through a 24-hour waiting period. They have to have a prostate exam and a colonoscopy just to be able to actually ask for the medication. And, yeah, it's not going to go anywhere, but it puts to the point that people just don't seem to understand that, it's not just women. If you really care about the health of men and women, then you're going to care about both of them, not just the one side. And if it's not about controlling women or reducing their, and trying to keep them barefoot and pregnant, then, well, how about we stop pregnancy by stop giving boner pills? Because then they can't get it up, they can't inseminate their wife, and there's no pregnancy. How about that?
That's right.
How
about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Have a vasectomy and, I don't know, fucking get a child that, for whatever reason, is in an orphanage.
Well, see, now you've upset Sasha, okay? Because you start talking about orphanages and stuff. She's not into that. She was in the pound when we got her, so. Our dogs, they like to go off about everything. So. All right, but we're coming
one of the things about abortion.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, one of the issues about abortion is that evangelicals don't really realize that women are going to get an abortion, whether it's illegal or not, and that when Roe v. Wade was, being decided back in the '60s, this was really the question: how do we stop? The issue wasn't how do we allow women to just go have abortions whenever they want. The issue was that women were getting illegal abortions and they were dying oftentimes.
Yeah.
So the big question for the Supreme Court was, how do we stop 2 deaths instead of just 1?
Right.
Right? Because really women have had the power to control their offspring forever, and they've been doing it in the shadows, whether they do an illegal abortion or they take the child out into the woods or drop it off in a dumpster, or leave it at a church. The thing is that they have exercised the power, whether the state or any religious group gives them that power or not. So wake up, realize the fact, and let's sort of mitigate the dangers or the risks to women. And then let's also deal with, just like you said, let's limit pregnancy. Go get a vasectomy. Get the pill. Get the male pill. Whatever you need to do. And then let's take care of kids who need the help when they can't get it, because there's a lot of that. And the religious right doesn't want to kind of deal with that issue either. It's inconvenient. Everything is subservient to the big moral question. Death is wrong. Killing children is wrong. Oh, those poor babies. But yet, we send grown men to die in wars, forever, and no one thinks twice about that.
But they only care about the fetuses. Seriously.
Yeah,
once
they don't care
born,
about the kids born.
Oh, we're going to cut your... No, you can't get fucking... You can't get food before school.
Yeah,
you can't
have
this,
a free
have
lunch
that.
because your family's poor.
We just need you to be born, and we don't care who pays for you. We're not going to fucking do it. We just want you born, so eventually maybe you'll sit in one of our pews and be in our religion and vote Republican. Christ. I'm sorry, but it's just I can't not frame it that way, because I feel that strongly about it. Like it's like, okay, well, we're so sad about all the babies that are dying. Well, what about the ones that are living? But they're barely living because you're cutting all the programs that can actually make them stay healthy, and you don't give a shit about the parents. Well, then who the fuck's going to raise them? Are you going to raise them? Is the church going to raise them?
Well, you don't want the church to raise them.
No, but seriously.
Right there. You don't want that.
So you want the fetus to live, but who's going to raise it? Somebody's going to raise it.
Who's going to pay for it?
Can't raise itself.
That's what it is. It's okay to say, okay, no more abortion. But when the family is a low-income family and has no money to be able to actually provide what is necessary for a child, they don't care about that part. Or they say, well, you're irresponsible because you shouldn't have had a kid whenever you were when you're poor.
Or you're going to pay $20 for a box of condoms and you wouldn't be in this problem.
Right. But see, that's the thing, is it's real easy to just make birth control available to anyone that wants it, and make long-term birth control available to those that are low income, which is what they did in Colorado. Okay, so they provided provided IUDs for women, teenagers, and adults in Colorado that were poor or limited resources for free. And in the first year or so, abortions and unwanted pregnancies dropped 40-45% in the first year. But they don't see that part of it. They only see the abortion's bad. Okay, well, so we're starting a new idea of, instead of saying that we're pro-choice or pro-life, let's say we're pro-prevention, and focus specifically
pro-prevention.
Because the pro-life, pro-choice battle is never going to end. It's always going to be a losing battle. It's going to be a stalemate forever. So let's change the game. Pro-prevention. If you don't like abortions, then let's make birth control available for people who may not be able to afford an unwanted pregnancy and have to actually abort. Now we have no abortion. And for those on the pro-choice, you have the choice to use this free birth control, this easily available birth control, so that you don't have to worry about whether or not you make that choice at the doctor's office of whether you have to abort or not. It's all about pro-prevention. So that's one of the things that we've come up with over the past 6 to 8 weeks to try to get people to start talking about. Pro-prevention is what we should be focusing on, not pro-life or pro-choice.
That's really powerful. really powerful.
Well, a few shots of Fireball, a little bit of vodka, and it's amazing what kind of things come out of